Hello, my name is Aftab Khan. I'm Executive Director and Instructor at BRASI. Today, I would like to talk about safety stock in supply chain management. Why do we need safety stock? What are the factors that drive safety stock requirement? And why do we need to review and audit safety stock? And what kind of safety stock options are there for us to fulfill different types of market needs? So let's begin with the first part, which is why do we need safety stock? There's always a demand from the market which you need to fulfill, but that demand also has some variability. You forecast the demand, the best forecast that you can put there using the tools, the skills, the market information, the knowledge, the quantitative and qualitative data and all that. However, it's still a forecast. So now you track it by comparing it with actual demand. So if you're very good at forecasting, your actual will be close to forecast. You may not need as much safety stock, may not need any actually. However, as normally happens, market has its own dynamics, competition, changes, trends. So if there's a variability and you need to maintain a certain level of customer service, then you want to consider keeping a buffer inventory or safety stock for that matter, which kind of absorbs these fluctuations, and you're still able to ship to the customers from safety stock if the actual demand spikes beyond your expectations or forecast. On the other hand, if the demand the supply side has an issue like there's shortage, as we see that happens all the time in the market, there are challenges, there are issues, could be technical, could be not technical, could be geopolitical, could be weather related, could be event related, on the shop floor, and you want to keep a buffer to address those eventualities. Some of those are foreseeable. There's a history, there's a pattern. Some of them are totally out of the blue and unique, and first time for that there's a different level of risk assessment, different kind of strategy. Stockpiling is not safety stock. Stockpile is different approach for disaster recovery and those kind of one-off events. So we'll talk about later. We're not talking about a stockpile or inventory build. We're talking about material requirement planning based, MRP based safety stock, which is part of your demand replenishment system. So the factors that go into determination of safety stock quantity are the variability between your forecast and your actual sales. Let's put it that. You use the statistics formula and you find out the central tendency or the average or mean, and you determine the dispersion, or you call it sigma. But then you find that sigma, and then you use the factor of customer service level factor. If you want to maintain less than 90% customer service level, meaning that you should be able to ship all the orders 90% of the time, then you have a certain level of a certain factor from the table. Or if you want to keep your service level at 95%, there's a higher factor. So you do all those calculations and you determine the amount of safety stock that will help you meet your customer service levels. On the demand supply side, you do the same thing. I mean, you find out the variability, schedule stability, how stable are your schedules, how your suppliers keep their schedule or your plan for that matter, and based on that, you add that factor to your safety stock quantity. So once you have that, comes the second part. You institute that and establish that in your system. Now there are two parts to it. You can have safety stock as a fixed quantity, an amount, physical amount, and then you keep rotating it. And then MRP, if you use the first in first out method, it is all automatically replenished each time there is supply or there's demand. You can have a fixed quantity, and that works for your level demand items. However, if you have a dynamic demand or seasonal demand, for example, then you need to not to have a fixed quantity, because that might be too much in a low demand period, or maybe too short in a high demand period. You don't want to keep high quantity all the time. You'll be wasting money. So then you utilize the dynamic safety stock approach, which is you define a period of cover. For example, you want to say that, okay, I want to keep 3 months forward demand worth of inventory all the time as safety stock. Now the 3 month may translate into a larger quantity when you're ramping up in the season, and the same 3 months will represent a smaller quantity as you're ramping down from the season. So that way you avoid the risk of carrying too much or too little. You tie it to your fluctuation in the market demand, the seasonality cycle. So those two options are there for you. Once you set them up, you cannot leave it on autopilot. You need to go back and review periodically, usually 1 year, because every year is different. You go back and look at the two factors, the variability between forecast and actual sale on the demand side, and the variability between schedules and actual supply on the supply side if there have been changes. Because let's say you have improved your ability to forecast using better tools, better equipment, better software, better training, skills achievement, better policies, and now your variability is reduced. So you are more close to the market. Now you don't need to carry that much safety stock. You'll be wasting money. You cut it down. On the other hand, if things have changed for the worse, then you might want to increase safety stock to maintain the same amount of level of customer service. So either way, you need to go back and audit your safety stock periodically. Recommended 1 year, maybe 2 years for more stable products, shorter for more dynamic or trendy products, those two things. Now this is different from stockpile, because the stockpile, you are putting away a fixed amount, a known amount of inventory in a different location and not using it. But of course, when you don't use it, then it loses shelf life in many products. So you have to rotate it before it expires, so you can sell it elsewhere. You can use it before it expires. So there's different safety stock approach, but that's not safety stock as we know it for MRP purposes. It is a stockpile for emergencies, unforeseen events, for example, pandemic or epidemic or weather-related disasters, etc., etc. But that's different. Also, another type of safety stock is inventory build, which is not seasonal, which is not dynamic, which is not routine safety stock. It is for specific events. For example, you want to shut down your plant for a month for maintenance, annual maintenance. Now the demand doesn't go away; it's still there in the market. So you start building up so many periods prior to that event. Let's say you add up to your forecast. If you want to start building 3 months prior before the maintenance, then you add a third of a month each month, and you then create the inventory build, which you use to supply that to the market when you are not producing anymore for that month. So there are different approaches to safety stock. One is your built-in MRP functionality or MRP element. The other one is your fixed quantity stored elsewhere or eventualities, which is your stockpile rotated. And then there is inventory build for certain events that you can foresee and plan for. So this is a little bit about safety stock. Very interesting topic and very crucial from a customer service level and cost perspective. I hope that you liked this video and found it useful. If so, then please share this knowledge with others. And if you have any specific questions, we'll be glad to add to comments, or you can visit our website and post your questions. So much for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.